to episode 336 of the Should I Play This Game podcast for the 20th of April 2026. We are back, as we are with Steve. How are you?
I am very contemplative.
What have you been doing this week?
I've been sick for like the last week and a half.
No, that's a bastard.
Fucking on holidays, and like a chest thing was just starting to slightly brew. Not week just gone, week before. I've been through 2 bottles of chesty cough syrup since like last Wednesday. Not Wednesday just gone, Wednesday before. So no Friday night final, no Saturday version this weekend because I'm like, it's on its back end, but the back end and the tail is quite long. But of course, it's clearing up right as I'm about to go back to work. Not that it made much difference because let's face it, outside of I've been out for a round of golf, a couple of appointments, and an udon run, and that's about it. But myself and a friend were going to go either Korean fried chicken or banh mi, and that didn't happen because sick boy here got sick. The sick boy got sick, bro. But yeah, other than that, I'm all right. How's Tricks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit the same, actually. I've been fighting off something the last week or so, yeah.
It's fucking bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's annoying, but I wasn't on leave, so it didn't really...
I mean, like, did it change anything for me? No. All it did was cough a bit, and my head got a bit, like, sometimes if my head hurts from coughing or some shit, my neck might stiffen up, so I'm trying to, like, crack my neck out, because I'm like, there's a crack there, but it's not happening, and then it just makes my head even hurt more, because bodies are a pain in the ass, as it turns out. But yeah, anyway, I suppose that was a lead into video games.
And what you've been playing?
So the most and the main thing I've been playing, Neo 3. 29-ish hours over the last 2 weeks. Still chipping away at that. It's fucking good. I don't want to surprise anyone. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be the game of the year for me, because there's a little something coming next month that is probably a bit more likely for that. Also set in Japan, as it turns out. But it's fucking good. Even when I run my head against the wall trying to kill bosses that are just like, hey, check this out, get fucked. But I've been able to mostly prevail through pretty much all of it. Yeah, I really dig it. It's great. Where are we going? Temtem Swarm. So if you are unfamiliar with Temtem, can you remember what Temtem is, Graham?
Nope.
So Temtem is basically knockoff Chinese Pokemon. There was a game that came out on PC, funnily enough, called Temtem, a few years back. In 2024, GG Tech. Wait a minute. Hang on. Is Temtem not based in China? Fuck. Apparently not, because the publisher's Spanish. Maybe it sure does. Whatever. It's essentially just knockoff Pokemon. There's been a new Temtem game announced in the last week or two that's kind of Pikmin. Not Pikmin. What was the one with the fake Pokemon had guns?
Not Power World? No.
Power World, thank you. Yes, basically it's a Temtem Power World. A survival game. But that's not... Well, I've been playing a different kind of survival game. One with automatic shooting. Evolutions happen in the game, both of some of the Temtems that you unlock. Some of them can evolve, some don't. You also, much like a Vampire Survivors, combine a weapon with a specific piece of gear, and it upgrade once you level up the weapon from its base level, can combine it into an evolved weapon. But the problem becomes is first you have to unlock the ability to do that, and then you need to figure out what piece of gear actually will do that. So right now I've finished all the levels. I haven't unlocked hacking on the last 2 or 3 because you need to kill the final boss in 40 seconds to unlock hacking, which just allows you to add modifiers like an endless mode or it double times everything. So a minute takes 30 seconds. So it's really funny to do endless mode and then double time. And then like adding HP to the enemies and things like that. There's just obviously, because the upgrades are conditional and there's a pretty broad scope of possibilities, there's a lot of grinding to unlock the ability to evolve the weapons, and then you need to figure out what those what the actual evolutions are, which not dissimilar to Vampire Survivors. But when you spend like 80, 90, 100 hours doing it in Vampire Survivors, like I've got 13 here, I have less than half of the achievements and I have 57 of them. I'm kind of hitting the wall a bit. It isn't as good as Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, but again, few things are. But it is a better form of the Arse game in that it has that thing that I like about Arse games, that it gets you doing different things. You'll go to these little summoning circles, and when you have a Temtem to hatch because you've been granted an egg by a boss, you need to basically trail it around with you for 3 minutes and protect it. Or there might be an art sculpture where 4 pieces have gone in a relatively close proximity, or just stuff like that. It just adds just a little bit of depth to it. That something like Soulstone Survivors or Grind Survivors just doesn't have. So I dig it. I don't know how much more of it I will play. I've taken it off the current backlog and put it into the Roguish based folder or collection on Steam. Esoteric Ebb.
Before I go on, was that game you're thinking about was called Pikmos?
No, I was about to say Pikmin.
Was it called Pikmon?
No, that's the new one.
The new one's been taken off Steam, by the way.
Yeah, sure. That's what I was. Yeah, I was just. Yeah, it's another new one that's even closer to Pokemon.
No, but what I mean is it's been removed from Steam.
Yeah.
It's not buying it anymore. So it's
not
not even.
It's not.
So you can't. They changed it from Pikmon to Pikmos, then they removed it off Steam.
Yep. That's all happened in like the last week or two.
Yeah, so obviously there's no other game being announced yet. Well, it was announced and sort of unannounced.
We never talked about it, but not a copyright, but patent judge in America has withdrawn Nintendo's patent for the summoning of monsters to fight alongside you. So now the Pokemon ripoffs are even more able to do more Pokemon ripoffs. Esoteric Ebb. I saw and heard it described as Disco Elysium, but Dungeons and Dragons. And if you look at this verse screenshot here, it is fucking hell of that. It does seem to be a bit of tongue in cheek of the sort of D&D elements that it brings in. There's plenty of recognition, at least in the writing. It seems that while the developers seem to have an affinity for Dungeons and Dragons, they can identify that it is kind of silly. Which I think that's the right tack to take, not having the biggest attachment to Dungeons and Dragons. There was a real frustrating preponderance to, you'd start with the camera zoomed out, you'd click on a character to interact with them, it'd zoom in for the interaction would finish, and then the camera would stay zoomed in, which is kind of just a little bit annoying. But like, it's very nicely drawn and animated. I like the look of it. Like, as the people watching the video version, you can see it is well put together. It does the semi-Disco Elysium thing where it takes different components of the character and there's internal monologuing and dice rolls to indicate how they work. Instead of parts of a personality, they are the pretty typical RPG traits like strength, constitution, things like that. Which it's all very well written. Orally, it's more atmospheric noise than it is actually composed music. It's sort of notes that form a musical chain, not really composed, explicit, specific music. But I was clicking around, moving. You'd have conversations basically with yourself, dice roll some things, and that's it. like its strengths really seem to play into the writing of it, and like the not necessarily not the game parts of it, which the game parts are, I don't want to sound too harsh, but the game parts are somewhat fairly limited from what I played, to a point where I kind of got bored. The reviews are incredibly positive, much like Disco was. Disco, I felt like, had a little bit more going on interactively, but not much. And this thing is apparently like 20 hours long, and I'm just like, yeah, nah. Like, it's that when I went looking around, like, why don't I like this? I mean, I didn't want to just go, this is fucking boring, fuck this, because I felt like that's a bit reductive. But like a lot of people who talked about enjoying it talked about having an appreciation for Planescape Torment and Dungeons and Dragons. I don't have that. I never played Planescape when I was younger, or Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale or anything like that. The closest I came to proper RPGs were Diablo, or we had Ultima 8, but I played it for like 5-10 minutes, like click on stuff, and then I didn't play more than that. Yeah, I just couldn't see the positivity of it. Like, whether it's some sort of stupidly misguided incumbent that I need to like these, or something dumb in my head that's like, by liking this and by playing this, I'm going to help it succeed. Which is rather silly, but I never said I wasn't silly. There's clearly something here. And I think maybe in a different headspace, there might be a way that I'd enjoy this more than I did. But even then, it's a lot of reading, which is not that bad a thing. But when the actual interactive elements don't feel like they hold up their end of the bargain, because you're relying just on the dice roll, just on the dialogue and the writing. So, I don't know. I feel like there is definitely an audience for this, because if you the median score on OpenCritic, that feels a little high, but it is around the 80, between 88 and 90. It's got 90 on the tool that you've created. So it has been reviewed incredibly well. Maybe I'm just too dumb to play. Yeah.
It's not a game for you. Move on. Nothing more than that.
I do like RPGs. There's the next game from the Disco developers coming, I think, next month. Even though the main two creators of Disco aren't there anymore. So calling themselves the developers of Disco, technically true, but a little disingenuous. This is a game I really wanted to enjoy. Deadline Delivery. Like, it's got the most out of the park, insanely fantastic concept. You're a monkey driving a delivery truck with a bomb on it. And it blows up if you're going too slow or you crash. But fuck me, it falters in the execution. It drops the ball, something cruel. Because while the handling is not in and of itself a problem, it's very loose, very slidey, which can feel fucking great. Assuming that the track design isn't inherently so narrow that you're punished for sliding and not being able to actually keep the fucking truck in a semi-straight line. And then you have to do it in a certain amount of time to earn medals or whatever in order to progress. So there's this massive incongruity between like handling design and course, for lack of a better term, course design, that is completely at odds and completely clashing, that ruins any good fun it would be. Like, I got to a point where the course I was on had really severe undulations to it. So you'd be trying to go incredibly fast, drifting around a corner, but then you go off a bump straight into a house. Blow up. Done. Fuck. All right, I'll slow down a little bit. And as I'm getting to a corner, hey, check this out. There's a truck in the lane I'm in coming out of nowhere. Oh, fuck. Hit that. Done. Like, there is such potential. Like, with the premise being what it is, it had the potential to be just really good, kind of like, the downhill skateboarding game I really liked last year. I can't remember it right now off the top of my head. But this does not stick, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sadly. Oh, hey, Tower Wizard.
Mm.
I finished Tower Wizard in 15 hours. That was across 2 days because I basically left it running for the rest of that Sunday after we recorded and pretty much the entirety of the Monday. And I got all the achievements. So Tower Wizard's pretty neat. You let the tower grow and you click on things and eventually the things click on things for you and the numbers keep going up. I don't know what more there is to say about Tower Wizard. It's fucking awesome.
We've got to check it out.
Yes. Or it's like $4. Fucking buy it and do that.
Yeah, buy it. Yeah.
You have to be aware that it is an incremental / idle game. Like, the numbers going up is kind of the main draw. And then clicking on stuff like this to make the numbers go up even faster. That's where the fun is. It was good. It was really satisfying to leave it running after having 2 appointments, getting home after about 4 or 5 hours and having more than enough funds to just go clicking on all of the upgrades and then eventually finish it. It was pretty great. I think there's an extent to which demos can be misleading, Graham. Because Raccoon Coin Pusher Roguelike is a game that I played the demo of on stream and I thought it was really neat. And I forced myself to play way more of this than I actually wanted to because I'm like, I really enjoyed the demo. What the hell happened? What the hell happened was because of the nature of... So in case it's not clear, what if Balatro was one of those coin stacking / pushing machines? That's literally it. It's not bad for that lizard part of your brain that likes watching, for lack of a better term, numbers go up and just... Because there's times where you can make a massive fucking stack of coins like that one in the screenshot, and it'll just get pushed, and at some point it collapses and you get all these coins falling down. But the bar to hit on each, for lack of a better term, run or phase or whatever, ends up getting really, really high. And it's either you're having to grind to unlock a bunch of shit, or... There's just that I unlocked all the characters before I've even finished a run. And there's just an arbitrariness to the amounts because you can do what's called rebuys, where there we go. You can see in this screenshot in the top right-hand corner, there are tickets, much like any good arcade would have. You can exchange some of those tickets for more coins that you can shoot up the back here out of the left or right pipes. But obviously, if you're being a little thoughtful on how you're using those coins, they will get slid down. They will push more coins down and get fed through so you can meet the target. The target here on round 5 says 500. I got to 12 and it was 150,000. I didn't come close. So I'm just like the arbitrarity of the different roadblocks it sets up for you and stuff like that. It's just like, fuck this. Like, the demo was super neat. Conceptually, it's pretty cool, but then it's just so reliant on sort of luck. And it's just like, I've got other things to do. Fuck this. And like, it's really stingy on the achievements. In 4 hours, I got 2 achievements. What the fuck? I think this might be the 3rd or 4th Scrabble but Balatro game I've played in the last, obviously, year or so. Beyond Words. I need to double check something on the Steam store because its pedigree is actually really quite funny. The reason I say it's quite funny, from the creators of GoldenEye and Time Splitters. Apparently, that's relevant to a Scrabble / Balatro.
We're going to make something completely different from those 2 games.
Yeah. So, like, there's an interesting concept in that the board shapes or the board layouts are quite different in a lot of ways. So there's one track, and there's a bunch of different options, and the boards are shaped in a whole bunch of different ways. This one is an absolute motherfucker, and you're going for as many rounds as you can. Obviously, hitting different goals as the rounds get higher.
Mm.
But again, the numbers get fucked.
Mm.
You get the random luck and draw of what powers you get and things like that get fucked. And I hit a boss where in Balatro, much like in Balatro, you can the card here where it's got the 7 gems on it, that upgrades a 7-letter word to go from 7 times 7 to either 18 times 18 or 21 times 21 or something like that.
Mm.
I hit a boss where it's like if you play a word, it lowers the level of the word.
Mm.
So I'd spent a bunch of coins to level up words, like 6 and 7 letters, and then every time I played one to score points, it'd drop the level of the word for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, I was like, hey, check this out. Get fucked. Yeah, it's just really demoralizing. And like people on the Steam boards are like, you just keep playing and unlocking shit. And I was like, I'm not going to keep bashing my head against this fucking brick wall to try and hit these fucking stupid numbers with these fucking stupid wash conditions to eventually make it easier for me fucking 10 hours down the line.
Mm.
Fuck this. I put 2.5 hours in, and the concept is neat. Like Scrabble and Balatro is a pretty decent little mix, and having these different shaped boards is cool. But the randomness just obviously the randomness fucking you over is the point.
Mm.
But that doesn't make it pleasant, and the constant sort of grounding you into the dirt. And just that deflation you feel when a run just goes to shit through no fault of your own.
Mm.
Anyway. Dragonkin the Banished is an action RPG. It is incredibly, I don't know if this will shock you, but it's incredibly dragon-centric.
Mm.
Weird, right?
Mm.
You get like zombified animals, like goats and cows and sheep and stuff, but they're not infected. They're just draconic. So I'm like, okay, fine. It's very expository in its storytelling, in that like sometimes shit will get broken up with incredibly long-winded explanations for what's going on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm like, yep, okay, sure. And the voice acting is not great. It's hell of fantasy as well.
Cool.
Which if you're into that, yep, cool. I'm not massively into fantasy, so I can't tell if the actual story is much top or if I just don't like fantasy. So I'm kind of like, this is mid. And the annoying part is just the way the story's dropped on you in slabs, just intermittently. You could be like walking through an environment for half an hour, just bashing these animals, and all of a sudden you run into someone and you'll stop and you'll listen to them for like 3 minutes, just going, oh, this and this and this and this. And here's a concrete brick across your head so you can get the story across, fucker. There's an interesting skill management system in that you don't earn skills as you level up. Skills drop like loot.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay.
And no, that's the town. You get a little dragon at the start of the game that's elemental, so that can follow you, which is pretty neat. Does it have? No, it doesn't. By the looks, now. There's a hexagonal grid where you place the different powers and buffs, and you can like stack buffs around an ability to make it more powerful.
Okay.
So there's an interesting dynamic there. I think it differs the layout for the 4 different playable classes, so it's not the same hexagonal grid for all 4. It does do a good job in the prologue of, here are 4 different level 50 characters, 1 for each of the playable classes. So you get a feel for each playable class before you're picking one.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's pretty neat. So you don't have to try and guess. I initially went the big barbarian that's on the key art here until I noticed that he was just solely ice. And ice is one of my least favorite elemental damage types. So I'm like, nope. So I went I think it's like a paladin. Basically has a big lance that he just either stabbies with or can basically create a flamethrower out of it. Don't ask me how that works because there's no inner machinery on it. And he just like points it down and just starts spraying fire everywhere. I don't know how many abilities and skills there actually are. It might be a bit limited in that front. So depending on how much that's important to you, there is also a city management, I guess, mechanic or mechanics in that sometimes when you find relics in the environment or you add codex entries, you'll get city XP, which will allow you to open up new vendors, like a jeweler and all that sort of stuff. It'll give you ability point, like city ability points, where, for example, you can unlock more spaces on that hexagonal grid. That's the only one I did because I didn't get enough XP, city XP, to do any more with it. But outside of the skill management and the city development, there's not much that separates this from any other action RPG. But that's not much of a popular genre anymore. Like, there are still the big ones like Diablo, Path of Exile, Titan Quest 2 is in early access. Grim Dawn Last Epoch came out last year. There's been a few, but this doesn't really separate. It's fun enough. If you want something mindless, and the controller support's really good, if you want something mindless where you walk around and just stab a bunch of monsters and shit, this will do it.
Yeah, but you just easily plays one of the other ones if you've already got it. You don't need to buy this one to have that fix if that's what you're after.
Very much. And like I didn't, and particularly for the early to mid game, there's generally a bit more loot dropping in like a Diablo. I didn't get as much loot, and more importantly, once I tried to sell it, there was only the one thing to like sell it, which was just to get coins, and then the vendor I sold it to had like 4 fucking things to buy. So nothing that interesting to do anything with, which is a shame. But I think I've left it installed. Maybe it might be something neat to go back to eventually. But there's so many other things, like eugenics. So this is the next game from half of the Super Meat Boy development team. That half also did The Ender's Night and Binding of Isaac, which you can really tell in the art of the game. How do I explain this? Basically, you're doing science with cats. So is there... No, it's not. All it shows is like this guy who, despite appearances, apparently has a wife. Could have fooled me. So there's 2 phases. You send some cats out to do sort of their tactical components. This is much further along in the game than I am. It's basically What If Into the Breach, but cats. So you got this tactical component, which works really quite well, at least in the early phase that I'm in. It does a good job of rolling out the phases of it. Like, to end up being able to explore the second area, I had to complete a run on the first.
Makes sense. Yep.
Rather than opening up and just letting you stumble in and get absolutely obliterated. There's also the management phase outside of that, where a cat is retired once it's completed a run. So you can either keep them in your little house, or donate them to different characters that you run into. And like, they'll have different requests. Like, there's some who want retired cats, some who want injured cats, some that want kittens. And you see the baby making very briefly, but there are different animations for it as well. And they then act as either vendors or like quest givers, sort of informationally additive, tutorialized agents.
Okay. Yep.
For the cats you give them. And it's fucking massive. There's 281 achievements. But it is... there was a game that's overlapped it that recently came out, Opus Prism Peak. Overlapped it for the top scoring game of 2026 thus far, but it has been the number 1 scored game of the year so far on OpenCritic, and it's very easy to see why. I think it's a good thing you play maybe a couple of runs and you do something else. I've got 3.6 hours, and it's actually, I really dig it so far. I think it'll be something I'll just chip away at over time, much like Neo. Although I won't sit and play this for like 4 hours like I can with Neo because of its open world.
Yeah.
Last up, Relooted. The parkour platforming Steal 'em Up, where you're taking back the antiquities of different African cultures and returning them to their rightful owners. The narrative is pretty well put together. Like it's written and laid out quite well, although when you see some of the character-to-character interactions, they are fucking awkward. It's almost like not only were they voiced in isolation, they were written in isolation. So someone wrote all of these lines for one character, all of the lines separately for another, and just go, hey, let's put it together. Which is really weird. So yeah, some of the voice acting and some of that is a bit awkward, a bit fumbled. Some of it's a bit mismatched, a bit clumsy. But the subject matter is obviously very important. John Oliver on Last Week Tonight did a piece about museums stealing and hiding antiquities taken from other cultures a couple of years ago. And this game is the sort of embodiment of that. It does have a nice art style, playing off a sort of retro Afrofuturist aesthetic, which makes kind of sense because it seems to be set either very late, quote unquote, 2000s or early 2100s. Because there's a point where one of the characters says something like 1974, and one of the main characters is like, oh, that's about 100 years ago. I'm like, holy shit. Sometimes the camera can do a bit of a poor job staying focused on you, particularly early on. So like there are a couple times where I would, according to the camera, unexpectedly change direction, and it took the camera a moment to refocus, which was kind of a bummer. Like you'd think that'd be a problem, but the nature of the theft and escape sequence is so like one directional that it keeps up with it just fine. So there's, at this point I'm up to, there's 3 phases. There's one where you plan it out, like you go through with a drone and looking across the level and revealing different rooms, revealing the artifacts you're trying to claim, different pathways you can go, stuff like that. You then, in the game, in the level, walk/run through to figure out where things are, what you need to do to create the most free-flowing and quickest path out, and then you fucking do it. Some of that doing it is, for the most part, really handles quite well. There's a couple times you use the X button on certain obstacles to kind of parkour, but also speed boost off them. That's basically a collectible. So there are a couple different paths, and the game will accurately calculate which path you took for the number of speed boosts. But sometimes it's a bit finicky on the timing for that speed boost. So I was trying to do a couple of runs of levels I've already played to get all of them. I'm just like, fuck! And then I didn't know which ones I was getting. Or which ones I was missing. The music is fine. It fits the aesthetic really well. It's not my kind of thing, but it's also, I was going to say very weirdly Lion King, but given the African setting, not that weird. But I think it's really neat. I really enjoy the running around the platform and the parkour stuff. There are a little, like, it's not the most positively received game. 64% recommended, 75 median score on Open Critic. I think there were some performance issues at launch, and there are some definite writing and narrative issues, voice acting issues as well. Otherwise, though, like it's at a good point. I'm enjoying the playing of it.
I'm guessing it's a 2D platformer, essentially. Yep.
Oh, that's the planning phase.
Okay. Yep.
So you have different team members you can assign in different spots. That's just in the base. That is during a mission. So you can scan additional collectibles.
Okay. Yep.
In a mission, and yeah, it's basically 2D. It's 2.5D technically. Oh, this is great. None of these screenshots are actually showing a fucking goddamn level in practice. Anyway, yeah, it looks really neat. It moves really well. There is a little finickiness to some of the very specific timings on the boosting. that's my biggest problem with the playing of it so far. The other problems are tied to presentational and narrative, which I'm not finding the narrative too bad because it's an important subject and it's relatively well told. It's just the communication of that to the player that falters a little because they're not. I don't think they're professional voice actors. But yeah, it's neat so far. I'm going to keep chipping away at it. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool.
What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I have been playing Modulus Factory Automation. So we did a checkout of this last weekend, and it's up on.
We sure did. Scared the fuck out of me.
Up on the channel. I played it for probably another couple of hours longer after that. So it's essentially it's a whole bunch of things mixed together, I think, is one way to sort of put it, rather than being, based on something else. Like, it's
not an easy game to sort of extrapolate down to.
No, I mean, effectively, you're playing on this. No, I've taken my own screenshot. So you're playing on these basically floating islands of space, of ground, and on those islands are resources to mine. Like you see, there's not in this shot, unfortunately. I should have taken more screenshots. I did take some, but obviously not enough. Has that got it? There are miners down here placed on resources already. So the resources are infinite. They go forever. Placing down the miners and the buildings to do stuff is free, which is one thing that's different from a game like Satisfactory, where you've actually got to have the materials to make the machine before you can actually make it. Whereas this is like you get to place it down, but you've got a lot of the same sort of things. You've got, in fact, these screenshots are not quite recent. The UI's changed a fair bit since that's more recent.
Yeah, there we go.
So this is actually on that other island that I bought in part of the checkout. You might recall we bought that extra space next to us. So like you've got your conveyor belts to move items from one place to another. You've got machines like stampers that can actually remove blocks out of the block. If that kind of, like, you're putting in, for example, like that. So that thing there, when I use this stamper, the bit that's been sort of highlighted in blue there will get removed from the 4x4x4 block of cube. So that I'm now left with one thing that's 3x3 or 3x4 in this case, and the other bit of it is left out of it. That goes on two different paths. And this is where I think this game kind of made me say, okay, this is different from Satisfactory, because in Satisfactory, the items only make one thing. That's the machines make one thing. That's all they do. And if you've got excess of those things, as in say you need 1,000 of them, you make 10,000. You can either store the 9,000 for future use, or you can put them into what's called an awesome sink in that game, and you get these coupons back out of them. The coupons are basically a currency of sorts to buy minor things within the game, like new colours for buildings and stuff like that. So they don't really add a lot. There are things like items you actually build out of it, so you can get something out of it that are good. So it wasn't really, like, it's not a big part of that game. So most of the time you just sink it and you just build up this coupons list, and once in there you go, oh shit, I've got 1,000 of them, what can I do? Nothing to buy that I really need. Okay, move on, sort of thing. Whereas this actually allowed me to basically, through this setup you can see here, come out of that and cut this thing to get our 4x3x3 cube and our L-shaped thingy here, put that into this machine, which then cut it into smaller bits, or conjoined it together, then cut it into this thing, and then put it together and cut it. Like, it just gave you way more options to deal with the excess of something like this machine. I could have also put into a machine like a recycler and got nothing back for it as well. So it's just
that last thing that you had to build in the checkout looked way more complicated.
Yeah, so I can't remember what it was in the checkout now, but I mean, this thing here in the middle, these blue things, they're basically blue paint. And you see just in the bottom right-hand corner, they're blue squares. Like, you now have to basically make blue items. So you've got to essentially paint them effectively. So again, you've then building. You can see up in the top right hand corner here. I didn't actually expand them. The
Components.
yeah, the components to. Whoop, wait a second.
Whoa!
You see how?
We got code.
Yeah, so it's not. It hasn't zoomed in as much as I hoped it would. But see, it's like it's a 4x4.
Yeah.
4x4 blue one. This one's like got a completely different shape you've got to make. So
Yep.
the pieces, as you can kind of imagine, just become more and more complicated as to what you've got to do to make them.
The name is actually pretty, particularly once you understand what the name of it actually refers to. It's fairly well representative of what the game actually is.
Yeah, I mean, you're
it's
making
very
making
it's
modular pieces, and you're making
yeah,
a factory, and it's all automated.
and it's automated.
It's automated, yeah. So it's a pretty. I mean, when I did this thing and I went through it with this phase, I thought, wait a second, I've got an option here. I needed that shape because what I wanted to do was have that shape, and then one of the things we didn't get to in the checkout was what are they? I think they just call them challenges, and it's basically is build this thing, build this shape, and one of the shapes was this 4x3x3 cube, not this cube, you know what I mean, rectangle thingy,
Block
with the middle one removed straight through, it's like a hole right through the middle of it, to make that shape, and you make that 100 times 1,000, whatever you get XP for basically doing that. So I thought, okay, I want to have a go at this. I'm going to see what this particular aspect of this game is like. And I thought, well, shit, what do I do with this thing on the right hand side? What do I do with this extra L thing I've got? What do I do with it? And then I went through my options. They were to put it into one of these machines on the bottom here. I think it might be that one there. No, sorry, that one there is like a recycler. Basically, it just disposes of it. You don't get anything for it. It just disappears. But wait a second, I need to make this other thing over here. Can I just make that with what I've got here? And it turns out I could. So it was really like to be able to do that. That made me sort of sit and go, okay, this is a bit different to Satisfactory. Because Satisfactory is A to B to C to D to, and that's it. It's a straight linear thing to do. Which, as I've played nearly 2,000 hours of that game, I actually fucking enjoyed it. So that's, but this is such a little different thing. And basically, at the top of the screen there, you've got what I should have taken was a photo of a screenshot of the text tree. It's fucking nuts.
I mean, the building queue and the building prompts down the bottom are fucking nuts. So a skill tree is not being nuts isn't much of a surprise either.
But it just had stuff going left and under, linking up the stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So it was, I'll hopefully take a screenshot between now and the next episode. But yeah, so just expanding that and doing more of that sort of stuff. So it's got. I think this is a game. I think I said in checkout that I would like it. I think I was going to like it, but now seeing what you can do with excess stuff and actually reuse it to use it in an actual building material, yeah, it kind of went, okay, that's actually pretty neat to be able to do that, rather than just dump it into a bin or trash it. You can recycle it basically, reuse it. So yeah, look, it's got a lot of little things to it. You can. So the main thing, this thing we're on, I didn't realise this in the checkout, but I realised afterwards, there's people living underneath us. That's what's happening. So there's some sort of something underneath it because you're delivering, and I don't think any of this screenshot will have it in it, you're delivering stuff to a delivery dock.
The bottom dwellers want their bits?
Basically, essentially, yeah. So the neat thing about this game is you've got the ability to, when you go through these cutters, well, again, a machine you can place, you can basically cut it into different designs to reduce the pieces you need. So that's what's a little bit different about it too. Was a game like Satisfactory, you've got one shape, one item. You're making that one item. You don't have variations of it. But yeah, so you can upgrade the towers. You remember, you might recall we had those various towers that we built. You can upgrade them to make them faster, produce more, and stuff like that. So you can see in the screen right here, we've got blue items, we've got red items, purple items. They're all going to be things to basically essentially build for the what it needs. Yeah, so it's a really neat game. I really, really enjoy playing it.
I do remember. I think it was on one of the announcement shows that we were both watching. and it came up and you were like, yo, and I'm like, the fact, like looking at just that reveal trailer and like the fact that you end up really liking it is the least surprising thing ever.
No, of course not. Minos, we played a demo. I think we did a check. We did a check out of this.
We did a check out of the demo last year.
Demo of last year. The game came out a couple of weeks back. The setup, like when we played the demo, you basically just played a couple of levels, and that was all you really did. But this game has basically got a story around it, which is all voice acted, which is pretty good voice acting too. It's basically the same sort of story that Hades has in it, so it's the Greek mythology kind of stuff kicking in.
Yep.
But it's like the game itself is really, really clever. I mean, I like it a lot. So
how far have you gotten in it?
I've played.
So no, it's got about like two. I think you've got about 2.5-ish hours.
2.5 hours. Yeah, so I think I played. So between each, I'm just curious. I've actually got it in here. So between each level is like a camp thing.
Was that in the demo? I can't remember.
Don't know. It wasn't. Well,
Okay.
It may have been. I didn't play it in the demo to see it. Maybe it was in the demo. I'm not too sure. But essentially, you're in that, and that's how you go from level to level, or environment, or whatever you want to call it. You're playing as this character, bottom left. Asterion is his name, and that's the character you play as. And you've got the standard.
You mentioned Hades. One of the boss combination of Asterion and Minos is the penultimate boss fight in the first Hades.
Yeah, so it's got that sort of trope, for want of a better term, like a way better term, applied to it as the story. But yeah, like if those who haven't seen it or played it, it's basically tower defense in a maze design. So on the screen,
like shifting, evolving tower defense.
Some of it can be, because some of it's in the early ones they're static layouts. But the thing that makes them different is, like tower defense games, you've got multiple entrance points for your enemies. They are trying to get to the middle point, or not to the middle point. They're trying to get to the labyrinth, which is where you are not really holding out, but that's where you are sort of based. If you get there and you aren't there, because you can move around your character as well, they will just basically try and find you by sort of essentially trying to find you. But you've got traps you can set, and I don't think any of these screenshots show any of those traps, which is a bit silly. No, they don't. No, it's some here. So
they show like there's the build queue or the build.
Yeah, so the thing on the bottom. Yeah, so you've got things like spike traps, flame, God, what other thing? Ballista weapons and stuff like that. And basically, you can only put them on certain points, which are these trap points in here. Then by building walls, you can direct the enemies through the path you want to take. So, for example, you can see we've got enemies coming in from the bottom left here and bottom top right.
Yeah.
And they've got to get to this point, this labyrinth point here. So by building walls, you can direct them to a certain paths to take. And the enemies have a certain level of health each. And you can obviously, your weapons take out damage at a certain rate or certain hit points. So you can actually know, okay, that weapon that damages 5 will take out that enemy that's just only got 4 health. He'll die.
Yep.
Things like the fire one do damage over time, sort of thing. So it's got a lot of the puzzle aspect is that laying out of the design, which is Tower Defense is all about that. But we can also you can actually control the character itself, and he can attack if he needs to.
But it's only a time. It's kind of an auto attack sort of thing.
So no, you've got control. I think.
I can't
remember now. Yeah, I've been hitting buttons, so maybe I'm not too sure about that one. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But yeah,
I don't think there's much in the way of avoidance of enemy attacks, though.
Oh no. They will, if they see you, they will hunt you down. Yeah.
I don't think you can dive in, hit, roll back.
No, there's no dodge or anything like that. No, not at all. And you can die, and if you die, you just basically respawn back to this sort of camp area, and you can just keep going, sort of thing. So there's no real.
That's just another tool to the tower defense.
Yeah, correct. So there's a neat thing is like you've got build mode where you can build in walls. You can also take down these other non-breakable walls as well. So it's got a lot of control over what you can do. And there's a shitload of things to buy. You've got 3 or 4 currencies up at the top there. You've got one to buy weapons during the level, stuff to level up during the buffs you can
meta
buy, meta
upgrades. Yep.
upgrades. So it's got a lot of those sort of tropes. But the neat thing is just visually looks fucking awesome.
How are you finding the difficulty? Because that is one thing I've heard. I haven't read many reviews in detail, but I have heard the difficulty is possibly.
I've not played enough to go to have a point on that yet. So, but yeah, I like the look of it. The story so far, I think, is going to be fairly rote.
It's one of those Greeks.
One of those, because they've got
the Greek gods are pissed.
Yeah, essentially. Fuck. Yeah, and that's essentially it. So, yeah, there's not a real lot of scope when you've got that sort of a story, but I think the way the voice acting so far is pretty good. But yeah,
I'd be curious if it's like difficult from a puzzle perspective. Difficult because there's obviously different types of video game difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, there's no difficulty setting from memory, so it's just the puzzle layout is tricky. And a couple where I've gone, oh shit, is that going to be? Was that going to work? Have I got the traps in the right things? That sort of thing. So
that's been the thing holding me back a little on it. Like I haven't gotten into it yet. I haven't bought it yet because I'm like, I know I'm not very great at puzzle games, particularly like layout based, because I'm just like, I don't have that spatial thinking.
It's no different to Tower Dominion you played last year, really. So...
Oh, I just meted the fuck out of that. Okay. Just like put the biggest bombs and shit everywhere. Okay. I just dropped bombs on everything. I didn't have to worry about like.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, is it? Cause,
I macro the fuck out of Tower Dominion. I didn't micromanage nothing.
Tom Clancy Division 2. I won't spend much time on this because there are two games I want to spend more time on. But it's been around for 5-6 years, so not going to talk about that much.
It's a crazy game of shooting.
Yep. Replaced. Replaced is a side-scrolling platform of sorts, I guess. This game, to look at and visual and actually see in action, is one of the best-looking games I've seen for a fucking long time.
I think it'll be a very strong contender when we get to game.
Oh, for in a bunch of categories, except for a couple, which we'll get to. But visually, it just looks phenomenal. The way in which the game will go from cutscenes to play, my jaw has dropped multiple times watching it just play out. The biggest problem with it is the combat so far is incredibly boring and repetitive.
Okay.
So when you get to a scene like not that one there. So you've got your standard counters. You quick, not quick top of it. Yellow icon above the enemy's head. That's when you do your counter. It'll just automatically do a hit. You've got you can't avoid this one, so you've got to dodge it. So you dodge them, and you got your standard attack. You do at some point, because in the demo they gave you an actual gun, whereas in this game, in the actual full game, they give you the same weapon, but it's not a gun at the beginning. It's a bio-locked gun that you can't actually use, but you can use it to hit people with. So you've got that as a
pistol whip fools,
basically, essentially.
Fuck yeah!
You play as the character in the middle there called Warren, who is right there wearing the green cape.
My name is Warren.
There you go. But he has some sort of Neuralink thing embedded in him, and that character's name is Reach, and they're basically talking to each other. And at the beginning of the game, the opening cutscene has Warren at some sort of desk doing something, and shit goes wrong, stuff blows up, and then he's basically trying to escape, and he's trying to escape this city called, it's literally I think called Phoenix, and there's a big wall, and yeah, it's the story is very interesting from what they're doing. Like the setting is really awesome, the look of it is awesome, the writing, it's all just through written dialogue. This game would have gone really well if it had voice acting, but I think it's probably just a step too far from a development cost, so I understand why it's not done. But yeah, visually it's awesome. You've got just walking through everything's. You've just got to see it in action. There's sort of. I'd like to have had next time I'm playing it. Next time I'll probably do a video, and I might even try and bring up a video of this thing in action, just so we can talk over it moving, because the game. it's just phenomenal what they've done with the visuals of it. The biggest problem I've got with it so far is that action, that fighting. So basically, you'll drop into essentially not locked in rooms, but there'll be an area where there's 4 or 5 enemies against you. Defeat them all, you move on. Other than that, you're doing essentially sneaking around to try and avoid detection from the enemy, quote unquote. So yes, from that perspective, there's not a lot to it. But looking at that screenshot there, you can see there's light coming through the window, reflections off the basically they'll have the cutscene. I think they're in engine. So the cutscene will move from like the cutscene looks pixelated like this does, and then it'll just move. You'll zoom out, and you're then playing the character, and it's really really impressive what they've done. I just really hope that the story kind of sticks because the gameplay itself is not quite.
Sort of carries it.
It carries it, and the visuals and the story are going to carry it because the gameplay at this stage does not.
I've got it. I haven't started it yet.
I would probably wait a fair bit. The reason why I say that is
I've still got quite a few games to play before I get to it anyway, so that's not a problem.
Because I went on to the Steam discussion boards, which is always a bad idea in most.
So it's always an exercise, a fraught exercise.
But there is a lot of issues, I think, with chapters being bugged and not working properly.
Oh, sweet.
So there's probably, and in fact, it happened to me in a way because at some point you are in the early part of the game. There's a button you basically press. I'm playing with a controller. You press Y to proceed. It's a prompt on screen, and he sort of walks to the back of the walks away from the monitor. If that makes sense. Went to a black screen, and I could hear him moving, but nothing's happening.
That sounds good.
I was able to get out of that and get back to the other level, and then did it again, and it worked the second time. Some weird bugs are happening there. So
making games is hard.
Yeah, indeed. Mouse PI for Hire. This is a game that you and I have had our eye on since it was announced last year before.
It's been a good couple of years.
It's been a while. So this is a game that I wouldn't normally play because it's a boomer shooter, and I'm not really into those games at all. But
I am.
This game is not a full boomer shooter. That's probably why it's a little bit different. You are a mouse.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Your character name is Jack Warren, I think is his name. I think that's his name. Voiced by the one and only Troy Baker. And the voice acting, as you can imagine, is phenomenal. And you basically it's in a first person, and it's all black and white. And at the beginning of the game, there's actually some sort of filters you can apply to make it look slightly different. I didn't really play with those that much, but you can. You're basically a detective. You're a PI, and you're going through this particular story, doing detective stuff, quote unquote, looking at evidence, looking at clues, that kind of thing. But then there's a lot of it is between those moments you're doing first-person shooter stuff where you've obviously shooting guns. You've got some fists as well.
There was a screenshot that had some fists in it near the middle.
Middle one. Oh, there it
is.
There. That one. So that looks like probably a boss at some point, but you've got that.
It fucking looks like Popeye shit.
You can also do a kick as well as punching. So you've got a few sort of hand combat stuff, but most of it is with gunplay, with guns. And what's really neat is just the visuals of it are, again, to see it in motion, it really makes a big impact. Everything's kind of like flat 2D sprite sort of things. So you can sort of move around them, and they can sort of go there flat sort of thing. It's really really neat what they've done. I'm not sure. It's all like it's got a lot of writing that's like trying to be a noir style game with a story, but it's got a lot of as you can imagine, being a game based on mouse.
It is quite. I've heard it's quite cheese pun heavy.
Cheese, a bit like Cat Quest is very cat pun. Well, this is the same sort of, this is
as good. I don't know, man. Cat Quest has some fucking great ones.
There are
I hate puns.
Yeah, but that's where it's a lot of the dialogue is around that. like sort of thing. So which is not necessarily a good thing or bad thing. It's just that's the nature of the game they made.
Yeah.
But yeah, the visuals of it, the way it looks in motion is again phenomenal. The voice acting is really good. So I'm not sure it's going to be something I would sit down and play a lot in one big chunks. I think it would probably wear out its welcome to me, because it is fairly repetitive in that shooting stuff.
Yeah. It's probably pretty linear, probably pretty straightforward in its
really linear
it's just
to a
the
degree.
execution.
Yeah. But I mean, it just looks phenomenal in its emotion.
Yeah.
I keep going back to that because that's the biggest draw of it. Again, I hope the story sticks the landing at the end of it, because there's a lot of things going for it.
Yeah, this fucking week in particular, this week just gone for games. Like, I think I bought...
Yeah, I bought like 6 or 7 games this week as well. The stuff.
I bought a lot this week.
So Replace came out this week.
Mouse did,
behind a couple of days.
Did.
Modulars came out earlier this week. Minos like a week or so. Like the last 2 weeks, the first couple of weeks of April, have just been stacked with stuff to buy.
Most of March and April have been pretty heavy. I mean, I haven't even started Resident Evil Requiem yet, so I'm still kind of dabbling a little bit in March games, but also end of February.
Yeah, so Symptopia came out as well.
Yep.
Again, we did a check out of that a while back. Underpark Golf Architect, the game we did a check out of. That's out. So yeah, a whole bunch of stuff sort of dropped in the first 2 weeks of April. So, which is
Airborne Empire's got its 1.0 now.
Yeah. So yeah, some awesome games I played, and we shall move into the beginning of the end. Alrighty, we'll be back in a fortnight for the next episode of the podcast, but until in between then, you'll have your streaming stuff. Yes, I'm thinking you're back on
Twitch.tv/Enemy Starship. Follow over there. Get a notification when I go live.
And we'll probably do...
back to Split Fiction.
Back to Split Fiction this coming weekend for episode 5 of that series, I think it is. Pretty sure.
High five!
So we'll do that this next week, this coming week. Back in a fortnight for the next one of these. Yeah, your stuff on Enemy Starship. Anything else?
No.
Wrap this up. All right. Cool.
I did some videos, some stuff over the break that's up on YouTube. The holiday hangouts. A couple of them got done. Finally looked at Homura Hime, and fuck me, what a disappointment that was. I'll stream back next weekend.
Yep.
Next Friday, next Saturday, because I just didn't feel like it this week. It was just a little bit.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Alrighty. Until the next one you find Steve on, the next one you find us both on, have a good one. We'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.